1969 that baseball and basketball had the same two teams facing off in the league championship series. The Cavaliers played the Raptors, and now we have the Indians and the Blue Jays. And Cleveland's right now up in this series, just like the Cavaliers took the series against the Raptors. The Dodgers were able to come back against Washington and take their divisional series against the Nationals, so they will be facing the Cubbies in the National League Championship Series. And I have to say, these are two teams that I do watch. I don't watch the Dodgers quite as much. They're not in that category for me of those older teams that I like to watch for some reason. I do pay attention to the Dodgers, though. But the Cubs, they're a team that I've always wanted to, because of the curse, because of the Billy Goat curse. I've always wanted to see them win. And it's been 13 years, I believe, since the Bartman incident, which I don't blame him as much as everybody else in the world does for that, because there was 3, 4, 5 people right there trying to catch that same foul ball, and any one of them could have done the same thing and been in the exact same situation, and that whole city of Chicago turned on him instead of going, look at all those fools right there that all did it, all of them. I mean, who's to say that the person who's coming over the top of Bartman's shoulder right there didn't push him in a position to where he was a little closer to that ball? I mean, come on, leave the man alone. You a fan, you at a game, you trying to catch a ball. That's not why the Cubs lost that game. If you guys think that's why the Cubs lost that game back then, because a fan tried to catch a foul ball and Moises Alou couldn't get it with his glove, which if you watch, he's coming down anyway at that time. The ball wasn't going to hit his mitt from where he jumped to. I mean, get over it. You lost the game. Maybe it got in your head. But this year, they're looking like a different team. Joe Madden's got them rolling good. Theo Epstein's been building this team now for, 4 or 5 years. I think the Cubbies take this one and move on at least to the World Series. I don't know if they win a championship. I would love be a great story, be great to talk about. If they make it to the World Series, we'll probably report on each and every game throughout the week as we have shows. So tune in, you guys. Tune in to the baseball playoffs. Like I said, if you're a casual fan, this is the best kind of baseball you're going to watch right now is this playoff baseball, especially this season. It's been really extraordinary baseball with the comebacks, with the home runs, with the pitching duels, the strikeouts. It's just been really, really good baseball. All right, let's get into some more football talk, shall we? Legislation has been passed for the Oakland Raiders, Raider Nation, to move to Las Vegas. Las Vegas has put almost $1 billion of taxpayer money into the new stadium. Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, has signed legislation after it passed and said Vegas is the new home of Raider Nation. But there's one small thing left that needs to happen. The Raiders need to get 75% approval from the rest of the owners in order to relocate. And depending on, which reports you believe in or read or think are true or not true, there's either a backing for the Raiders to move to Vegas because the owners would like to see how that works out, would like to open up that market, get some of that money, or there's a group of owners who think it's not a good idea and would rather see them stay in Oakland. I personally think this is exactly the type of thing that Raiders Nation needs and Raiders Nation does. And the NFL, because of the business model, we're not talking about football right now, we're talking about business. Let's be clear about that. This has nothing to do with being able to play better football, getting better players, being a better management team, coaching better. None of this has anything to do with football. It's all about money. And I think the thing that ultimately could block the Raiders is just the jealousy of the extra money they would get in for being the Las Vegas team. I think ultimately any owners that would have a problem with it because they can't have the team that's going to be there. So I say let it happen. It's exactly, it fits the ideal of the Raider. And let's see how it rolls. Carlos Hyde, he flexed last week against Arizona at a group of Arizona Cardinals players, got flagged for taunting, and has now been fined over $9,000 for flexing his muscles at a group of grown men for a taunting penalty. We've talked about these penalties and these flags and these fines now for, I think, 3 weeks in a row. Come on. If you're a grown man and you can't let another grown man flex, and that's going to throw you off your game or make you go crazy and have to get in a fight and act stupid, that's on you. Get your own fine for your personal foul afterwards. But because somebody flexes their biceps, that's taunting? Come on. Do you remember where the NFL came from? Do you want to watch the old videos you guys run from the 70s and the 80s? Of when they would just, whatever. Stupid fines. Moving on. Ezekiel Elliott having a great season, not just for fantasy owners, but also for the Cowboys. He's on a historic pace right now. If they can keep this up throughout the entire season, the offensive line continues to block, he continues to hit the holes, he continues to get the big runs he's been getting. He is on pace to break Eric Dickerson's rookie rushing record of 1,808 yards. That's impressive. I expected the rookie to have a good year. I thought he would get 1,000, maybe 1,200 yards as a rookie. But at this point, to be on pace for this type of yardage in a passing league, remember, we're in the age of passing, the spread offense, and he's putting up this kind of rushing. It's impressive what they're doing down there, that offensive line, the mistake-free football that they're portraying, and what this kid is pulling off so early in his career. We could be looking at a great, we could be looking at a flash in the pan, we don't know. It's a rookie year, we'll have to see. But right now it's very impressive what the Cowboys offensive line is allowing Mr. Elliott to accomplish with both of their plays this year. And, good play calling from Scott Linehan. He's a little bit less predictable this year than he was while he was with the Lions. He's playing a little bit more to the strengths of his team. They're letting Des Bryant basically take two guys out every time they run the ball because they're doubling up Bryant most times with coverage over the top. And the Cowboys are just going to continue to take that. And we'll see if Romo plays when he gets back. I know all the talk is this is Romo's team. We support Romo. I'm behind Romo. Dak's behind Romo. The owner's behind Romo. But you win 4, 5, 6 games before Romo comes back. Do you want to really break up that momentum, break up what's going there just to bring in that guy again? I don't know. He has been one of the better quarterbacks over the last decade. He is a good, very good quarterback, Tony Romo. So we'll see what happens there with the Cowboys. But they are doing record-breaking things right now. It is time for the NFL Preview Review. All right, Thursday Night Football was a horrible game. The Broncos' defense started off extremely slow. They look like they've been completely exposed and how they can't stop the run game. No, we should not bring in Paxton Lynch and switch him out for Trevor Siemian. That is a bad idea. The problem Thursday night was not Siemian. Yes, he dumped the ball off a lot, but that seemed to me like the game plan because they weren't pushing it deep. They did run the ball a lot, and then they kind of changed it up and went upbeat a little bit there in the second half, fourth quarter, but all that was open was the underneath stuff. If you go back and watch the all 22, there's about 4 or 5 times where there was somebody who was going to break free deep, or a player did break free deep and he missed them. But the rest of the time, the routes weren't really being run all that deep. He didn't have time because Denver's offensive line is 2 yards deep as soon as the ball gets snapped, whether it's a running play or a passing play. Denver's got problems right now. They really got to regroup and figure out what they're going to do. They lose to the Chargers 13-21, and really the game wasn't that close. And I can't imagine that just DeMarcus Ware coming back on the defensive side of the ball is going to mean all that much. Maybe it will. We'll have to see. The defending Super Bowl champs right now have some problems for sure that they're going to have to deal with, and it's not bringing in the rookie quarterback who clearly is not ready yet. Ride Trevor Siemian. He's the guy you guys need in there. Let's get to Sunday's games tomorrow and who's playing Monday night. Tomorrow, Sunday morning, the early games are Buffalo and San Francisco. And remember, we listed that game during Cunningham's picks as a potential upset game. That could be a good one there up in Buffalo. Jacksonville and Chicago. I'll take Jacksonville in that game. Detroit and the Rams. This one's hard. The Rams got a lot of injuries. Tremaine Johnson's not going to be playing, so their secondary is really weak right now, but they still have Aaron Donald. Three of their other top defenders, Brockers and Quinn, and can't remember the other one right now. They've been injured. They didn't play last week. They're questionable for this week. Pittsburgh's playing Miami. I'll take Pittsburgh in that game. New England and Cincinnati should be a good one. It's another tune-up, like a step up from Cleveland for Tom Brady, with that better secondary there in Cincinnati, and really just an overall better team there in Cincinnati. So that'll be a good game tomorrow morning. New Orleans and Carolina, remember we picked that one. Snead should be able to get off on that weekend Carolina secondary. Who else do we got? We got the Giants and Baltimore. I'll take the Giants in that game. Tennessee's playing Cleveland. I'll take Tennessee in a close one. Really comes down to turnovers in that game. NFC matchup, Philadelphia and Washington rounds out the morning games. That one could really go either way. Afternoon games, we have a great divisional matchup with Kansas City and Oakland, as Oakland is currently finding themselves sitting in first place in the AFC West as the Broncos lost Thursday night. So we'll see if Oakland can hold that, or if Kansas City can do what they normally do against Oakland, play them really tough and make it interesting at the end. We have Dallas and Green Bay tomorrow. We talked about that game as well. That's going to be a good one to see. They'll be honoring Brett Favre this weekend again at that game. Atlanta and Seattle. That could be a tough one. Those are two division leaders right there. We talked about that game as well as a potential game of the week. A lot of interesting matchups there. Julio Jones, Richard Sherman, that Seattle defense, their pass rush. So that'll be a good one. Check it out. Sunday night game, Houston and Indianapolis. I don't know what they're going to do with that game, as those are two kind of want teams on Sunday Night Football. And then rounding out this week's games, you got Arizona and the Jets on Monday night. Two evenly matched teams. You got a team that's a great front four against stopping the rush. David Johnson has been getting off the last few weeks. So we'll see who's able to come out there. Carson Palmer's back, things like that. So a lot of things going on there. And, those are the games we got this week in the NFL. We'll cover the games tomorrow, and before the night game, before Sunday Night Football, we'll come back, have another show as we always do each and every week. I want to thank thedirtcannon.com for being the official fantasy partner. Check us out on Facebook, Real Deal Sports Talk with KP. Check us out on Twitter, Real Deal KVP. And the big announcement is, starting tomorrow's show, if you would like to call in and debate with me, give me a comment, talk about something that I've said on the show, you can now reach the show on Sundays, Wednesdays, and Saturday mornings. So Sunday afternoons at 5:30, Wednesday night at 7, and Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. You can now call in to Real Deal Sports Talk at 720-515-5597. Again, 720-515-5597 is going to be the official call line for Real Deal Sports Talk with KP. I'm looking forward to it. Until next time, everybody, be real.